Along with serving as the papacy's seat, the Vatican is recognized for its extraordinary culture, architecture, and monuments. It also attracts controversy and has a good number of sinister secrets. Here is a closer look at some of the Vatican's darkest secrets. Hello everyone, this is AWZ. Welcome to our channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Enjoy. External influences. The hidden Vatican archives are said to have been opened to Russian academic Genrikh Ludwig in the 1920s, who purportedly found some very unsettling stuff inside. Please note that this has never been conclusively proven before I continue. Although the rumor has been going around for almost a century, we don't actually have any proof that Ludwig was inside the hidden archives. According to the legend, Ludwig was granted access to the archives, where he found 35,000 catalog volumes and 53 miles, 85 kilometers, of shelving. There were records spanning more than a dozen centuries of European history. He began seeing things that didn't make sense as he was perusing the seemingly endless halls of ancient writings. There were studies that examined the ways in which aliens influenced all of the world's oldest civilizations, including the Egyptians and the Mayans. He apparently also discovered historical evidence of the employment of nuclear-style weapons in the distant past. One text described how a weapon that produced tremendous heat caused the walls of Babylon to melt. Conveniently for his story, no one other than the professor has ever seen these documents because he was never able to leave the Vatican with them. Nevertheless, it's intriguing how the knowledge concerning aliens visiting ancient societies and aiding in their advancement does coincide with the known development of civilization. The Sumerians advanced from being a group of simple hunters to creating buildings, irrigation systems, and a writing system throughout the 4th millennium BC. It's possible that they received assistance from aliens, and the Vatican has known about it all along. However, Professor Ludwig might have just been making up a lie. Over Vatican City, a UFO. A bizarre orange disc was seen around the Vatican in 2007. Witnesses reported seeing something they can only describe as a silver, orange glowing saucer floating over the dome of St. Peter's Basilica in broad daylight. It was captured on camera, seen by a large number of people, and then completely forgotten. The UFO visiting the Vatican was swiftly forgotten by everyone after capturing the attention of people all around the world. But that doesn't alter the reality that it took place. In 2007, a weird, presumably extraterrestrial object hovered above the Vatican for many minutes. Uncovering what it was and what it desired is the riddle. We have to suppose they were previously acquainted if we were to imagine for a moment that this was an alien ship that was only loitering above the Vatican. It's possible that the Vatican has long been aware of extraterrestrial life. It's possible that the ship was dropping off a dignitary for a meeting with the Pope. The Pope himself might be an alien for all we know. Of course, all of this is simply conjecture. There was something weird in the sky that day, but there is no way to verify whether it was genuinely from space. Do you honestly believe that the Vatican has touch with aliens? No matter how absurd, share your theories with me in the comments section. Before the video ends, don't forget to hit subscribe. Making money off of hypocrisy. The Vatican frequently benefits from ideas they reject. Despite being a religious organization, they have a lengthy history of affluence, enormous holdings, financial power, and influence. For instance, you probably weren't aware that the Vatican contributed millions of euros to the creation of the movie Rocketman. Given that Rocketman was a movie about Elton John discovering happiness in his marriage to David, a union that the church strongly disapproves of, this appears to be a conflict of interest. The Vatican, however, had no trouble funding the film's production with a little over $1 million in order to secure a piece of the action. But the situation is a little more nuanced than that. The State Department is constantly making investments. They contributed tens of millions in this instance to the Centurion Global Fund. After that, this foundation supported a number of Hollywood movies. The Vatican received money from those investments. Although the Vatican probably had no idea what they were investing in, they were happy to accept the funds. The case of the dead man. Pope Stephen VI went to great lengths to try a man who was already dead in the year 897. One of the Vatican's strangest actions was this, that we are aware of, at least. His successor held a trial over the former pope's remains. Since Pope Formosus had been dead for a few months, he was unable to effectively defend his honor or himself. Nevertheless, he was exhumed, dressed in clothes, and forced to sit on the papal chair so that justice could be meted out. Even a deacon was chosen to speak for the body. The events that followed will appear insane. In front of a crowd, Pope Stephen VI attacked the previous pope and shouted insults at him as if he were yelling at a real, living person. At the conclusion of the ridiculous trial, the deceased pope was found guilty of usurping the papacy. In other words, he absconded with the papal throne. Then all of Stephen VI's deeds while serving as the pope were declared invalid. Everything that Pope Formosus accomplished was reversed. His body was dumped into the river after having 3 of his fingers amputated. Pope Stephen VI was imprisoned shortly after it and then killed by being strangled. The main argument is that serving as pope throughout the Middle Ages wasn't the finest occupation. Most of them passed away young, most of them were utter lunatics, and their beliefs were more political than religious. Romanus was Stephen VI's successor. He lived for 92 days before passing away. Theodore II, who succeeded him, reigned for hardly more than 2 weeks. Who knew there was such a high level of drama and violence in the papacy? The unknown archives. The Vatican hidden archives are the most secret location on Earth. What they're hiding down there, in what has been called a subterranean fortress, is the subject of innumerable rumors and conspiracies. However, we just don't know. The Vatican only permits entrance to the most esteemed researchers who are at least 75 years old because everything in the archives is so closely guarded. The reason for this is obviously to prevent the scholars from ever disclosing the information, even if they were inclined to do so. And while some claim there are strange objects like time machines and alien bodies in the archives, none of it is likely true. The truth is that there is a ton of correspondence about the Pope in the archives. They also have Catholic Church valuables. And since we're dealing with the Catholic Church, it goes without saying that they don't want people admiring their assets. We are aware that there are some artifacts kept in the archives. There is a letter written by Mary Queen of Scots prior to her assassination in 1587. There are records pertaining to Martin Luther's excommunication. This is where the transcripts of the Knights Templar trial are kept. The archives include crucial information on the Church's previous 1,200 years. However, a lot of this information is confidential, therefore the Church won't ever allow the general public access to it. Even though they provide the impression that everyone with an interest can access the archives, that is probably only a half-truth. The actual information will be hidden inaccessible to us in a still more secure repository. Highest rate of crime. There is one aspect of Vatican City that is not promoted to tourists. They have one of the highest rates of crime anywhere on Earth. According to statistics, there are 1 to 1.5 crimes per inhabitant each year in Vatican City. Does that imply that if you visit the city, you will be robbed and killed? Most likely not. One of the highest crime rates per capita is seen in Vatican City. Since they are the smallest country in the world in terms of both size and population, this shouldn't come as much of a surprise. The majority of the 1,000 residents are nuns and priests. They do not, however, commit the crimes. The Vatican City receives 18 million visitors annually. These tourists include many crooks. The crime rate in Vatican City significantly increases when you compare it to the city's real residents. Yes, Vatican City has Europe's highest crime rate. It's mainly because it's a haven for small-time thieves who want to steal your money in addition to being a center for religious pilgrims. What do you believe to be the biggest secret of the Vatican? Thank you so much for viewing, and please share your opinions in the comments section. Please hit subscribe if you haven't already in order to help support the station. I'll see you soon with another fantastic video. Bye.